Oh my god, we're back.
We're back.
How have you been?
I've been.
You look good today. I like what you did with your hair. Thanks for just always laughing at my bits instead of adding on to them, and keeping the interpersonal dynamic going. It really helps sell it as two people at a couch rather than just one person bullshitting whose wife sometimes jumps in. Yeah, you're doing it right now. Just keep laughing.
Okay, I won't laugh at them. I'll keep them. I'll.
Yeah, you just laugh. Don't add any other thing in of your own. Just keep it one person.
Okay. I won't laugh. I'll be very serious at all times.
That is how you do. That's how you get people to be entertained on YouTube. Is you have to be maximally serious. So for the rest of this Let's Play, we will have no jokes whatsoever.
Haruki.
Yeah?
You were thinking about another girl, weren't you?
Come on, babe. You know you're the only one for me.
You don't need to lie. You touch your necklace whenever you're thinking about something else, right? Why don't you go to her?
Huh? There's no way
You can. Go make up with her.
I didn't come here to get psychoanalyzed. I came here to get laid. And also not have to sleep somewhere in a manga cafe tonight.
Oh, you didn't specify when you said fucked. You didn't mean mind fucked.
Oh, my bad.
I wasn't expecting anything special, you know. I only called you because I felt like it. I'm making food, so don't make a face like that. It's a bother.
It ain't like that. It's just, well, you know.
Let me guess. You had a fight with a friend and don't know how to patch things up?
Am I that easy to read? Just be honest with me right now. I cultivate a personality that I try to be kind of inscrutable. Am I really that easy to read?
You feel dumbfounded for a moment. It's written right in the bottom third of the screen.
Oh God, you could see the bottom third of the screen? I felt dumbfounded for a moment.
Called it.
I try to see it, but it's all backwards to me, so I can't.
See, that's because you have a sprite. I don't have a sprite, so I'm just a sort of disembodied consciousness.
Shoot, well, I should try that. Being embodied sucks. I didn't know how to make up with a friend? For some reason, that struck something very deep within me. Up until now, if I got into a fight with someone, I'd just cut them off. But if I wanted to reconnect a broken string, I don't even know where to begin. How to make up. There. Search. Making up with your girlfriend. Making up with your boyfriend. Come on, I know way more about this stuff than all these keyboard warriors combined. Huh. A present is the perfect excuse to start a serious conversation. I realized that Christmas was in just a few days. A quick look couldn't hurt, I guess. Well, I'm here, but I ran my gaze across the Great for Presents section, but nothing really caught my eye. Within the display cases, there were many accessories that women would love. Some of them looked much like the ones I'd actually gifted to women. But this ain't it. After looking them over, I found myself going to another place. I came upon a Christmas merch owner with its own lit-up Christmas tree. Those things would just go in the trash once Christmas was over, and, oh. My eyes stopped upon a small snow globe. Had a house standing in the middle of a snowy field. Heavy snow gathered on the roof as a warm light leaked through the window. The way it lit up the falling snow inside the globe looked really pretty. I found its scenery oddly familiar. Oh, was his brother basing that whole story based off of like a small snow globe scene?
Maybe.
Because come to think of it, that's like a perfect encapsulation of that, right? It's always this picturesque single little cabin in the middle of this perpetually snowy, right? Like, how did I not put that together? That's funny. Oh, that was...
Not at all. I really enjoyed it.
I couldn't help but remember the maid's words. Yeah, it was much like it. The treasure island my brother told me about. I picked up one of the globes on display. It felt like I was holding a tiny fragment of another world. Excuse me. I'll take this one right here. I wanted her to know. I wanted to show her this scenery. The plastic bag rustled in the cold wind. The sound made my lips curl into a faint smile. Would that annoying maid really like this thing?
You look happy, Haruki.
Not you. The other one. Also, doing maid and nurse at the same time is like too many fetishes at once.
Just wait until I get into ninja or pirate.
Or catgirl ears.
You don't know what's under this hat.
Ah, shit.
Neither do I.
Fetishes are like flavors, right? You know, if you mix too many of them together, then it's just like what comes out of it isn't exactly going to be that great.
Frank and Moe.
I'm Frank.
Have you seen?
Did you just pull that out?
I don't think I did.
Because that was fucking funny as hell.
No, I'm thinking of a specific thing.
Oh.
Can I find it?
Oh, Frank and Moe? Moe?
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that.
That's funny as hell, though.
Dang, I can't fucking find it. There was something that was the like Moe anthropomorphization of Moe tropes itself, and just kind of like had all of them slapped together and looked horrifying.
Just a horrifying little blob of...
Yeah.
Oh, God, that sounds awful. Huh. Hey, because I am. Take a look at this, MAMIYA.
My, what a beautiful snow globe.
Right?
You've been staring at it for a while now. You must like it very much.
I ain't gonna keep it much longer, though.
Why is that?
Because I'm giving it to a certain someone.
If you're so fond of it, though, why not keep it?
You don't get it, do you?
You think so? To you, it might be the most amazing thing in the world, but you can't be sure if the other person will also appreciate it just as much as you do.
I'm beginning to think maybe you're not giving me the best advice here. Hey, quick question. Do you want me to remain isolated? Is that your whole deal here?
Don't worry about it.
You trying to, like, become a substitute for any other kind of friendly interaction I could possibly have? And the moment I try to actually try and make it work with someone else and actually man up and try to apologize, you're like, wait, no, don't do that. You suck.
It hurts when another person rejects something you really like. So, rather than risk that happening, I think it's much safer to keep it all to yourself. Don't you agree, Haruki? Are you really sure you want to give that snow globe away?
Abso-fucking-lutely. That's what I bought it for.
I see. It's past midnight. You should go to sleep.
You're right.
Good night, Haruki.
Good night, Moe Blob.
I can't wait for Christmas.
How do you know what Christmas is?
Welcome back, Master. We're actually holding a party tonight. It will be a modest little thing, but we'll do our utmost to please our dear guests. With some luck, we may even attract a Christmas miracle. Mina, attend the guest at table 3. On my way.
Hey, Mina, can I get a Christmas version of your special Moe power?
Right away, Master. Event days sure are hectic. Welcome back, Master.
Hey. You told me to come.
That's right, I almost forgot. Welcome back, Master. Please enjoy the party tonight.
Wait.
Let me go, I'm busy. If you want something, go ahead and say it already.
I
Yeah?
wanted to apologize.
You've got nothing to apologize for. We were just killing some time, remember?
Yeah, I know, but at first I genuinely did feel that way. I felt like you were stupid for trying to find out more about Natsume's death. But we never did find out why he left his phone with you.
He probably just did it on a whim. Look, it doesn't matter anymore.
It does to me. I brought you a present.
Why now, of all times? Isn't it a bit too late to suddenly start treating me like a girl?
Look, it's Christmas. And I wanted to, do the whole exchanging presents thing. So I got this for you. I took the present out from my bag. I had wrapped it up myself. The maid gasped.
You open it.
It's not a bomb. Not... All right, hold on.
It's not? Damn.
Wait, hold on. Do I need to... Wait. I'm reevaluating some things now. Her voice was trembling. I slowly undid the ribbon and revealed the snow globe to her. That's cute.
Wow, it's beautiful.
The maid studied the snow globe on my palm. The genuine admiration in her voice filled my heart with warmth. It sure is. The tiny pellets of snow continued whirling around inside the globe, each reflecting a tiny snippet of light, which was, in turn, reflected in the maid's deep, dark eyes. She slowly raised her face. Our eyes met.
You got this for me?
I wanted you to see this scenery. I wanted to show you.
Thank you.
No problem.
It's such a beautiful snow globe. I know. It really looks just like the treasure island.
All of a sudden, I felt like the entire world had gone silent. The treasure island?
Sorry, I must have been thinking out loud. I heard about it a long time ago from someone very close to me. Apparently there's a treasure island somewhere in this world.
You mean the one from the movies, right?
Oh, not at all.
I started to feel like...
The treasure island is a place where snow falls.
Sandcastle inside me had just begun to collapse.
It doesn't seem like there's anyone living there, but there's a single house on it.
All sound had died down.
It's always lit by a lantern, and there's warm bread and soup waiting inside.
Rustle, 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 rustle.
Sure, there may be no treasures or anything grand like that, but it's a warm, inviting place nonetheless. A wonderful island that belongs to just the two of us.
Something deep within me disappeared without a trace.
You really did pick out a wonderful present, Morichika.
Still unable to look up, I let go of the snow globe.
Huh.
And let it fall. No! To the floor. The cozy little house, along with the snow-laden field and the glass of the globe, shattered with a loud crash when they hit the floor. Just before you hit the floor. Well, then it's about time.
Huh?
The air froze around us.
Morichika, are you all right?
You gotta be kidding me.
Morichika.
No, man. No.
No.
You're having a Christmas party with a bunch of lonely nerds huddled together? Give me a fucking break. To boost your sense of self-worth, to tease all these miserable virgins. And a treasure island? Ha! That's funnier than the way I was killing time. But it's all made up, okay? I think you actually believed it. Aren't you embarrassed? There's no way an island like that exists.
I think you should leave. I made a mistake inviting you. I want you to leave right now. Frankly, I'm disappointed. You can't love people.
They were just words. And yet, it was like a curse, binding me to be unable to love. I felt my heart gradually becoming colder. The loneliness embraced me as goosebumps came over me. No matter how warm the air, I'm always freezing to my core. It's like I'm constantly holding ice. And as it thaws, all I get is water running down my fingers.
That's why I told you to keep it to yourself.
Isn't it the opposite of why you told me to keep it to myself?
Don't worry about it.
Like, it seemed like she actually really did appreciate it in the exact same way that I did.
Yeah. Reasonable people can disagree.
Moe Blob starts saying debate me.
It's I, the gaslight gatekeep girl boss.
Oh, great.
If you had stayed alone, you wouldn't have had to get hurt. I'm not like the others. Embrace me, and I won't ever betray you. I'll love you forever. I'll heal all your wounds.
Beginning to think this whole MAMIYA thing is maybe not... Why am I talking? I'm beginning to think maybe this whole MAMIYA situation maybe isn't in the best interests of these gentlemen. The snow fell harder and harder and began to pile on top of me. How many hours or days had passed since then? Kept wandering, sitting down, then walking around again with no particular goal in mind. I even lost track of the passage of days. I couldn't stop coughing. I'd put away my inhaler somewhere a long time ago.
Anyway. Oh, hey. Huh? Really? There's no way. Tojo, what's wrong? Oh, nothing. I'm fine. Hey, aren't you cold? The place over there serves some amazing lattes. Really? That sounds great. Let's take a look.
Okay, just putting the icing on. All right. You know, in case you hadn't figured it out yet. I kept on walking with a vacant look in my eyes. I averted my gaze from the illuminations. The cheerful couples. The happy families with their shopping bags full of cakes and fried chicken. I turned my back on the world at large. None of it had anything to do with me. Complete indifference and crushing loneliness. Like a dark, endless void. I suddenly felt a sharp pain in my chest. I crumpled to the ground while desperately trying to catch my breath. Clenching my teeth, I tried to soften the pain, but it wasn't working at all. I looked up in an attempt to get help, but no one was even meeting my gaze. The crowd continued to move as though they didn't even see me. The gleaming illuminations. The display windows reflecting the dreams of children. The cheerful Christmas song that enveloped the town. They surrounded me, and yet only I was still alone, cut off from the rest of the world. Someone, anyone, please help me. MAMIYA.
It's all right. I'm always here for you, Haruki.
Make it stop. I can't stand this loneliness anymore. I doubted anyone else was looking forward to the end of the world as much as I did. My life had always felt like I'd been watching it in third person, like a movie. If it were to end, I would want it to be a spectacle, making it ensemble cast work even. Something large scale that would downplay my personal pain. That way, I wouldn't have to bear the shivering on my own. I've always hated everything. This cheerful town, the happy families, and every single goddamn Christmas I had to spend alone.
I see.
The sound of rolling film. The persistent noise of the projector. Sparse seats. Lights near my feet.
Then let us leave before the credits roll.
In this cold, clockwork town, I kept on watching a long, long movie.
I love you more than anything in this world.
I love you too.
Come with me to the wonderful, boundless world of the Trichiliocosm.
I still don't know what to make of the Trichiliocosm. The thing that fucks me up about it is that it has tri in it, right? Which has 3. But we've got 4 character routes. So the tri isn't about our 4 main characters here. And that's as far as I've gotten trying to understand Trichiliocosm.
Something is scratching at the back of my brain about the roots. Chili, like, I feel like I've heard Chiliad as...
And cosm means like a cosmos, like a macrocosm. It means like a world, a space, right? An area, a place of existence.
Okay, here we go. I've got an interpretation then.
Hit me.
I remembered correctly a Chiliad. A Chiliad is a noun that means a group of 1,000 or a period of 1,000 years.
So the world of 3,000 years?
Yeah, that's my first guess.
That's not bad.
Either a world of 3,000 years or a world with only 3,000 people in it or something with 3,000.
My torment's been going on for over 1,000 years. Well, yeah. Well, my torment's been going on for 3,000. This life was like a shitty movie. The crowd froze, as if time itself had come to a halt. The snow continued piling atop Morichika's back. Oh, this is back too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I brushed it off and touched his hand. It was deathly cold and heart-wrenchingly sad. Morichika Haruki, why? You weren't supposed to die. Once more, I'll go to the church again. I won't give up.
This mysterious figure again.
He has on a lot of layers, huh?
I was wondering about like you got like the trench coat, the sweater vest, the dress shirt, and a tie.
But also, is that just a sweater vest, or is that a sweater vest inside a dark colored jacket as well?
No, I thought it was just a sweater vest with like a little colored fringe.
Okay, so a collar that's a different color than the sweater itself. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I read it as.
I was reading him as having 4 solid layers on there.
Oh, that's impressive. If four.
I feel like that would
especially getting him to line up like
somewhat.
that.
Yeah,
because the fourth one seems improbable.
Yeah,
right. You like the sweater vest is obviously going to work with the dress shirt, and then you can choose where the lapels of your coat kind of fold open. But that crucial fourth layer seems improbable to get it to line up nicely.
Is that what is on his face? The rectangular thing, is that glasses or is that a bandage or what?
That's a bandage.
Okay,
that's how I've been reading it. Or the mole, right there, or. Man, every character looks hotter if you give them a little mole. But the paradoxical part of that is that if you give every character a mole, it suddenly stops working.
And it doesn't work as well if you continually increase the quantity.
Right,
it does not scale linearly.
It has to be just the one. This is, again, SK to Sex Fetishes Hour.
Glasses, however, it works if everybody has them.
God, yes. More characters need glasses. And the fact that y'all wimps won't do it. Interestingly, this is just me. I'm just now describing Bayonetta.
That's correct.
Incredibly tall, one mole, glasses. Yeah, that's. And it's on Christmas. Hey, I tied it back.
Yeah. Same game.
Every game that takes place on Christmas is the same game.
All right. So that's 2 of 4.
2 of 4. All right. Oh, I have to pull up the strategy guide again, don't I?
Who should we do next?
Let's do one that you're gonna voice. So we've got Rio, who we saw a little bit in Minato's route, and then we've got Kaito, who is just an enigma.
I'm gonna make a prediction.
Hit me.
You know how those two kind of showed up in each other's routes, it seemed like?
Yep.
I bet these other two are going to show up in each other's routes in some way. I hope so, at least. That'll make it easy to trade off voices.
I don't know.
So.
I think the way we see the characters, I'm actually going to bet that Kaito is largely unconnected to the other 3, at least to begin with.
Okay. How about this? So Kaito was the friend of Minato, right? How about the other guy?
I thought Rio was.
Oh, Rio was.
I think Kato's the blue net.
Kato's the blue net. Let's do the blue net.
You want to be mysterious blue net?
Sure.
Okay. Let's head on back in.
Alrighty.
Natsume died.
Oh, hey, it's student day.
The boy who appeared slightly shorter than me. Oh, wait, no, you were this character, right? Go for it.
The boy, who appeared slightly shorter than me, glared in my direction for what felt like a good few seconds. Was he upset? Overwhelmed by his piercing gaze, I felt a pang of guilt wash over me. I made a curt bow in an attempt to once again apologize, but he simply walked past me without saying so much as a word. I opened the door. A solemn atmosphere, etc.
All right, so we wanted to do, you wanted blue net, so we got to do Kato route.
Yeah.
Take a seat closer to the exit.
I took a seat close to the exit. I'll sit next to you if you don't mind.
Not at all.
So tall he can't even fit in frame.
I kept gazing at the flowers far ahead while waiting for the ceremony to begin.
The artists had the choice of how high to make the relative, screen, and they still chose to make him that tall.
Everyone around me muttered prayers in remembrance of Natsume, etc., etc.
Let's think nothing. Sorry, Rio, not this time.
I ignored him as I would every etc., etc.
Yep.
I'm curious.
Okay. Oh, what did we... Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So sorry, it skipped. Because we did see this last time. So
Yep.
we are. Right. So we want to. The Kato route is go outside.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh, it even stops you from repeating routes.
Interesting.
Does it? No, maybe I'm reading too much into that. But we got the route we wanted, so that's... Okay, here we go.
Wanting some fresh air, I decided to step outside for a moment. The cold December air outside the church felt unusually pleasant. I walked around for a bit until my eyes met another student's.
Ah,
Hello.
hello.
Were you also attending Natsume's funeral?
Yeah, I was. I'm pretty sure he meant a lot to me.
Pretty sure he meant a lot to me. I wonder, then, is this guy maybe one of the online folks Natsume met?
Could be.
Right?
You're pretty sure. That was an oddly vague way of putting it.
Well, I was very small back then, so I don't remember the details.
Or that. Never mind.
But Natsume probably lived in my neighborhood, and we often played together. Oh, but there's something I can remember clearly. On an especially snowy day during the winter, we ended up building a snowman together. I keep doing side-eye all the time.
And your eyes are on top of your bangs, which I know is a valid artistic choice with the anime style, but still, your bangs disappear behind your eyeballs.
Yeah, it's kind of uncomfortable. We looked around for sticks and leaves to give it a face, too. I was in charge of making the face, and I remember making use of all the stuff we gathered together. We used red fruits for the eyes, a large leaf in place of a nose, and an arched stick for its mouth.
Was it cute?
Oh yes, very. Looking back at it, Natsume probably just wanted me to have the most fun part. Yeah. He was so nice. And now he's dead, isn't he? We can't see him again. Yeah. I'm so sorry, I got a little carried away.
Oh, it's fine. I'm actually glad to have heard a new Natsume story I wasn't aware of.
Really? I'm glad you liked it.
Yes?
It might be rude of me to say this, and I don't want you to get upset, but you kind of remind me of him a little bit.
I see. Goodbye then. Take care.
You too. That's interesting. So there's now two different people claiming, oh, well, Natsume, I guess he was really important to me when I was a little kid, but I haven't talked to him in ages. Morichika basically said that, and now this guy is too.
And then turning up teary-eyed at his funeral.
That's kind of weird.
Right? Like, what kind of an impression? And especially one that seemed so wishy-washy at first, but especially for a young man here.
Yeah. I knew the truth that many people had lost. In this day and age, overflowing with things, yearning for the invisible unknown was more important than ever. I wouldn't forget it.
Oh, that looked like a fire.
I wouldn't lose any of you.
That looked like a flower.
So please, give something back to me. Let me experience an adventure even greater than the last. Turn me into something unlike anything else in this world. Death, huh? This was the first time I'd experienced the death of someone I knew. The funeral was permeated by the scent of mourning. It had felt as if that place alone had been cut away from the city. Will I eventually die too? What did it mean to die? Where did people go when they died? Oh. I felt water touch my nose. I put my hand out and immediately noticed a few raindrops on it. The droplets began to multiply, eventually filling the ground around me. It had begun to rain. Whoa! I used my bag as a makeshift umbrella and hurried off to find shelter from the rain. A simple rainfall was enough to dispel all thoughts of the funeral from my mind. the world would soon end. I didn't know how much truth there was to it, but people on TV and the news made it out to be a big deal. You could even hear people discussing it in class.
Interesting.
So it's 1999.
You think it's a Y2K thing? I was wondering, like, so, but this is also the first time we've heard explicitly other people outside of this small group at the funeral discussing the upcoming end of the world. So, is this a
It's the end of the world as we know it.
We have to not make that joke every time. Interesting. So is this like literal end of the world is coming? Like, is this a meteor generation thing? Or is this more of a vague kind of Y2K scenario? Because the timing was right for Y2K. It's just such a vague thing. But like the fact that people are talking about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Makes it seem more than just like some cult or some guy with a sandwich board saying the end is nigh.
Yet, none of us actually felt like the world was going to end. I was certain that the end would happen in the blink of an eye. It would be simple and anticlimactic, like the burst of a soap bubble.
Strange.
Did you ever meet our local doomsday prophet?
No, I can't say that I did.
He used to frequent my place of employment, like, that would have been, like, 8 years ago, I guess. He was a weirdly smiley, friendly, and personable guy who just was a couple of steps out of phase with consensus reality, I would say. He never gave us any trouble or anything, but it was all like, oh, yep, the world's ending. It's like in a couple months. I've got these prophecies because I'm God's prophet.
Oh.
Anyway, how you doing? Good to see you. And it's like, well, I'm glad at least it's not tearing you up too much, dude.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're getting on with life.
When I think of like living in the shadow of the end of the world or imminent disaster, I my mind always turns to D8.
Yep.
You know, the notion of having this vague, uncertain date, but very clear and present disaster hanging over your shoulder. You don't know, you know what's coming, but you don't know exactly when, and just kind of having to live life in the meantime.
Yep.
I wonder if there's a similar vibe.
Could be. Because
it does seem like people are just kind of going on. If it was a real, like, yeah, we've got, you know, or like the moon is deorbiting and we're about to, you know, moonfall scenario.
Now, the title does say illusion of the world's end.
I was about to bring... Yeah, it does say a shared illusion of the world's end. But maybe it's a metaphorical end of the world? Maybe the world itself is already an illusion and that illusionary world is going to end? A couple of different ways we could take this.
My life was a good one, with nothing missing or anything too much.
Good morning, Suo.
Good morning. I'd always been surrounded by other people. Everyone around me was interesting and quirky. Thanks to them, I could spend every day with a smile. I'm back.
Welcome home, Kaito.
What's for dinner, Mom?
Hamburg steak. I know how much you love it.
Welcome home, Kaito.
Wow, you're home early today. My mother was a great cook, and my father was a policeman, and both of them were my beloved family. I was really proud of them and hoped to one day become as nice and reliable as them.
Kaito, we're leaving tomorrow.
Uh-oh.
Are you sure you'll be all right on your own?
Mom, I'll be fine. I know how much detergent to use and where we keep the emergency money. I know how to cook for myself. I won't experience a strange episode and beat up the shoe rack in our entryway with a metal bat. I also know the number I need to call to reach you.
You doing all right there? You doing all right over there?
Come on, Kato's already 15. This will be a good experience for him.
He's so tall for 15.
My dad looked at me and I responded with a nod. Everyone was nice and each day was fun.
I mean, like, I definitely knew people at that age who were just that gigantic already.
Yep.
It's always a little bit awkward. I imagine it's very awkward for them as well. Because that age is like right about when just before people start really getting to where they're supposed to be, and it's like walking around a good head and more taller than everyone else.
And yet, I felt like there was something missing, like a piece of a puzzle. So I would continue searching for it. It was as though there was an ivory haze over this saturated life. It was comfortable, but the vague outline made me feel like something wasn't right. A part of me felt like I just wanted some excitement. Or maybe I just needed someone special, even if that seemed like a convenient excuse. So how is this guy gonna die horribly by the end of this? Like within about the next 90 minutes of gameplay,
Right.
if the pattern holds, this happy-go-lucky guy with a pretty decent situation overall, seemingly, is going to die horribly.
And it
Why?
also doesn't seem like he was masking it either, because we
Unless
definitely
he's
got
real good at it.
unless he's real good, because we got that impression the first route where you could see like the cracks and the stress.
Yeah.
Whereas this kid just seems like stuff's going okay. I mean, I guess we'll get to it. Hey, have you heard, Suo? Club activities are canceled due to the rain.
What?
Awesome! We'll get to go home early today. I'm gonna spend my whole day watching TV. Soaps!
I don't want club activities to be canceled. Then I can't play board games with my board game club.
You're really forcing this one, aren't you?
I forgot my umbrella. All right. Ah! I rushed through the rain as droplets slid down my cheek. My eyes focused on a place I usually paid no attention to. It was an empty park, and much like the playground equipment nobody was using, did I call it or did I call it?
Dang, you called it.
There was a person being attacked by the rain. I hurried over and called out. Excuse me? Fattened droplets of rain trickled down the lashes of his closed eyelids. It didn't seem like he'd wake up. I carefully touched his neck to check for a pulse, and that was when I noticed him shivering. Oh no! His dark, almost foreign-looking skin was deathly cold to the touch. He'd freeze to death if he stayed here. Right. I took out the towel I'd originally packed to use for club practice and began drying his hair. Please hold on. Let's see. In that moment, his eyes silently opened. His amber gaze bore into me. I found myself gasping. It seemed almost like his pair of amber eyes were the only source of color in the heavy December rain, but in a straight way. Snapping back to reality, I tried addressing him, but he slowly closed his eyes. Ah! I had a bad feeling about this. Clutching his hand, I realized he'd grown even colder. I was the only one who could save him. After making up my mind, I had him lean on my shoulder and started carrying him away as the rain beat down on us. Back home, I made him lie down on the sofa and headed for the bathroom. After warming up the water, I hurried back to him with a bath towel.
I'm beginning to wonder if it feels the routes definitely feel mutually exclusive, right?
Yeah, and I think the going back to the church and so on thing at the end makes it seem like we should take it that way.
And that like somehow the talking to them has a hand in diverting what happens, or by being present in their life like that somehow. I'm confused.
Please wake up. I desperately wiped the cold water off him, hoping this would help warm him up a bit. His eyelids began to tremble as my light pink towel rubbed against his dark, almost cat-like hair. As his breathing intensified, I felt relief wash over me. Oh, you're finally awake.
Huh?
The next moment, he quickly pushed my hand away and jumped back. Beyond the curtain of his still wet locks, the young man's amber eyes were like daggers piercing my skin.
Where am I?
Huh? As I took a step forward, still wondering how to answer, I realized there was something off about him.
Huh? Huh?
His breathing was unnaturally heavy and ragged. His eyes opened wide, he quickly looked around, and his face became even more pale. Are you okay? I tried to run up to him. The youth grabbed a pair of scissors lying next to our phone and pointed it straight at me.
Where am I?
Ah. My knees trembled like leaves in the wind. I was all of a sudden paralyzed by fear. Why did I bring this person into my house? The man, still pale as a ghost, raised his voice to a yell, almost as if to drag my inner thoughts into the open.
Answer me! Where am I?
I think answering is probably a good idea.
Yeah.
This is my house.
And why am I here?
Well,
Answer me!
clearly desperate, he took a step forward. The scissors were now closer, and I couldn't look away from their sharp edge. You were unconscious in the park. You were soaking wet, so...
In the park?
Yes? The young man paused to think for a moment, but kept the scissors pointed at me.
What did you do to me?
Huh?
Answer me!
Nothing. I carried you here from the park and dried you off with a towel. That's all.
I see. You were trying to help me, huh?
Huh? As his whisper-like voice perplexed me, the man put the scissors down and went to the entrance. I warmed up the bath, so why not, As I called out to him, he collapsed on the spot. When I rushed over and held him up, I noticed something red staining my hand. You're bleeding! I called out to him, but got no response. This unconscious man was bleeding from his stomach. He must have been ignoring this wound since he was out in that rainy park. I was scared of dealing with someone who would threaten people with scissors, but I'm more scared of throwing a half-dead person into the rain. I'd probably regret it for the rest of my life. I gathered my resolve and carried him in once more. You mustn't push yourself. Your wound looks pretty deep as it is. Pressing the towel against his stomach, the young man carefully sat up on the sofa.
Is this your doing?
I'm sorry for being so meddlesome. I promise it's the last time. I know it might be difficult, but please try not to move, at least until the bleeding stops. When I said that, his tanned fingers slowly touched the towel. He then spent a while just looking at it, gradually changing color.
Where am I?
Huh? At my house.
That's not what I meant. I'm asking where this place is.
Huh?
Actually, I don't remember anything from before I woke up.
What do you mean? The young man's tone grew heavy. It was as if he himself had difficulty believing his own words.
I can't remember anything. Not where I live, nor what I was even doing in the first place.
Clutching his head, the man cast his gaze downward. In other words, you have amnesia. I never thought I'd ever say that word. The lanky man furrowed his brow and closed his eyes. To me, it looked like an obvious nod of acknowledgement. The room was completely shrouded in silence, so much so that even the ticking of the clock began to irritate my ears. Can I ask something? Do you remember your name? I still don't know what to call you.
Rio. My name is Rio.
Rio. The moment I heard that name, the person in front of me gained a clear outline for the first time. It was as if the name itself was making it clear. That the amber flash of his gaze, the fingertips touching my towel, they were no longer things to be afraid of. I'm Suo Kato. If it's okay with you, you can stay here until your memory returns.
Huh? Don't you remember what I did earlier?
I do, but you were too confused at the time. There's no way I can blame you for that. My parents are currently abroad, so I have many rooms you can use. Rio looked at me like he couldn't believe what he was hearing. That's not what I... But you need help, right? Rio's eyes widened in surprise.
I'd appreciate it.
His answer came in a low, barely audible voice.
I am calling every single thing about his voice wrong.
Sure thing. Here's where you'll sleep, and the bathroom is right here when you enter the hallway.
You get 3 outfits?
I'm a fashion plate. What can I say? Once Rio had finished bathing, I lent him some of my clothes.
These are ginormous.
They seemed a touch baggy on him, but at the same time, the look felt to fit him just right. My room's on the 2nd floor. Don't hesitate to call me if you need something.
Sure.
Good night.
Good night.
My brain continued working at full throttle even after I'd climbed into bed.
So what happened to Rio? And do we believe Rio has amnesia?
And do we believe Suo has nothing to do with it?
Right? I don't know, is Suo canny enough to frame the story in a way that removes any implication?
I don't know.
Implicating evidence from...
We have already...
He seems a bit too happy-go-lucky to have the forethought to frame things in a different way.
But we've already seen, like, it seems like we're getting only a small slice of these characters' lives presented to us.
Right,
so
that's true.
If there were things going on, like,
that
it
they
wouldn't
wanted
be a
to
surprise.
leave it. Yeah, okay.
Not that I'm saying that's where this is going, but...
Mm-hmm. But we also know that Rio has a sister, right?
Yeah.
A younger sister, whose name was Midori?
Yep.
And he seemed fine in
Sure did.
Minato's route, so... Huh.
Who was Rio, really? Why was he lying there in the rain? Was he involved in some incident? For all I knew, he could have been someone very dangerous. What would my parents say about this if they were here? No. I gotta sleep. Mamiya will get angry at me otherwise, too.
Oh,
Within my sheets, I shook my head to the sides. Losing his memories must have made him really anxious. That said, amnesia, huh? It was so unrealistic, like something out of a drama.
Yeah, it's like amnesia does happen, but it's rarely so clean cut, I guess.
With a slight smile on my face, I fell asleep.
I don't know how much we're meant to read into it, but Kato's got a telescope.
Look at the time.
Always got his head in the clouds, gazing at the stars.
Mom, why didn't you wake...
Morning.
Oh, good morning. So, what are you going to do now, Rio? I thawed the frozen rice and ate it with a bit of pollock roe. The tanned man looked at me while snacking on some pickled veggies. I need to go to school now. Do you think you'll be okay on your own? Rio, who had been calmly chewing his food until now, suddenly froze up and widened his eyes.
You were just gonna leave me here alone? In your house?
Huh? You'd prefer to come with me to school? I'm not so sure if that's a good idea.
See, the thing is that, like, Rio keeps keeps being amazed by how entirely too trusting Kato is. Right? In a way that says more to me, I don't know people who act like you.
Yeah.
Which maybe belies the amnesia bit. I just don't get why you'd feel safe leaving a stranger in your house while you're away. I could rob you and stuff.
Yeah. You're not the kind of person to do that, though, right?
No idea.
You won't do anything of the sort. You won't. Right? As I tilted my head with a smile, Rio simply averted his eyes.
I'm not planning to, at least.
There you have it.
It doesn't change the fact that you gotta have a better sense of danger.
I sent him off while telling him to come back in time for dinner. He went to look for a job while I went to school like I always did. I might have picked up an amnesiac, but life went on like usual.
Just immediately day one, you're like, yep, no, cool, I'll go get a job.
I had to behave like normal. Be normal or else. That's
Or
my
else.
motto.
How? I'm imagining the job interviews. So, how many years of experience do you have? None.
In general, because still none.
Still none. No, I don't have a bachelor's degree. No, I don't have 4 years experience at This is this is a Don Quixote. What do you want from me? Good morning, Gato.
I heard a voice from beside me and turned toward it with a smile. Morning.
Oh, you were a bit slow to leave today. Walk a bit faster. Let's go.
Wow, you're right. Let's go, Mamiya.
Oh shit, I'm committing to Mamiya's voice here.
Well, we should see Mamiya.
Yeah, I want to see Mamiya.
That'll help. That'll help get the vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
I made a warm smile. His name was Mamiya. He was a close friend of mine, who also happened to be invisible. It took a while to introduce him, but he was also an important part of my daily life.
Oh, he's just invisible.
I see.
My voice can sound like anything I want to.
Did you think that invisible people didn't exist? A few years ago, even I wasn't sure what this was
but
about.
Mamiya's been around with him for years at this point.
And that's a really healthy thing, as we know from our other characters' routes. It's
our
great
other
to have
characters
Mamiya
didn't
around.
last years with Mamiya at their side. They also didn't get Mamiya until after the funeral. This is entirely different.
But as time passed, I started to put the pieces together. Mamiya wasn't a ghost or anything like that. I couldn't see him, but he was definitely there. And he was someone who understood me.
I'm in your brain.
What do you think? About the amnesiac, I mean. Rio.
Ugh, the guy who pointed scissors at you? I wouldn't keep him where I live.
I see. I guess Mr. Samejima's gonna scold me.
Though this does smell like something interesting.
You think so too. I'm actually kinda excited. I'm sure this will just be the first of many fun days. Fun. That's what happens when you pick up a random amnesiac off the street.
All right, that's
Wholesome fun for the whole family.
Never not fun. All right, that's it for today's lesson.
Thank you very much. Huh? I found Rio sitting near the front gate to my house.
I don't have a key.
You surprised me. What are you doing here?
You told me to come back before dinner.
And I also told you where I hide my keys. You could have just waited for me inside.
It's your fault.
Huh?
You really don't think things through. If you found me inside your house, you just end up wondering if I'd moved or taken something. It's not a great feeling to have.
Did you? Did you wait for me here just to give me peace of mind?
It's like weirdly considerate, but also says so much about what Rio had to go through. But this isn't Rio's route, so we're not going to spend time. We're not spending time unpacking Rio here. You're in the wrong route, buddy.
While dressed so lightly, too.
You got a problem with it?
How long have you been here?
Hell if I know. I don't have a watch.
Rio averted his gaze.
I'm also noticing a lack of cell phones.
Well, they have cell phones.
Right, of course they do have cell phones. That was a big plot point.
Yeah, in the
but
past
also
two
people
routes.
aren't using them regularly to communicate at every single point in time. So this is probably early cell phone era, not smartphone era, because no one's been talking about like looking stuff up on their phone.
Could be.
Although if it's pre-Y2K, then it would be weird because cell phones weren't mass adopted before the turn of the millennium.
I remember Japan was ahead of the curve compared to us, but I don't
maybe.
remember how far ahead.
Yeah, well, maybe I'd believe it.
His ears were beet red. As I grabbed Rio's hand, I noticed that his fingers had turned red from the cold.
Those aren't red from cold, they're red from embarrassment.
The touch of his freezing hand made me understand that he genuinely didn't have anywhere else to come but here. Thanks for coming back. Let's hurry inside. I'll get you something nice and warm to drink. Where were you during the day?
I walked around town and looked for anything familiar.
Did you find any hints for your memories?
No, not a thing.
I see. Anyway, a bit of food should cheer you right up. There's still some of the karaage that Mom left for me.
Karaage.
Loves chicken nuggets.
I got a real Kudere vibe going on here. Just my eyes are going to sparkle and I'm going to be excited, but I refuse to let that show on my face. Karaage.
You don't know what karaage is? It's a type of fried chicken that...
Do you think I'm stupid or something?
Though a bit mad, he helped me out and we began to prepare dinner. He stood in the kitchen like he was used to it, while I didn't have much to do and went to the living room.
What are you watching?
The TV. The best answer.
Yeah, okay, silly me. I guess it was a silly question.
What do you think about the end of the world? On the CRT, I saw the world's end, the truth revealed. While some shady-looking adults were giving their theories, the entertainers were putting on a show.
Is the world actually going to end?
Yeah, and it'll happen this year.
Huh, first time I hear about it.
Seriously? But everyone's talking about it. I was about to mention my class, but then I remembered he was an amnesiac. What would you do if the world ended tomorrow? Rio sat down some distance away from me as I waited for his response. For a brief moment, he averted his sharp gaze, then glanced to the side before finally speaking up.
Not a thing.
Why?
'Cause there's nothing we can do.
He looked into the distance with somewhat resigned eyes.
I guess I'd just spend my day like I always do, then go to sleep.
I see. His answer was one I didn't expect. Most people would say they'd spend their final day doing something different. Under normal circumstances, you'd have to stay in line and obey the rules of society. So most would say that since that would be gone, they'd do whatever they wanted.
Maybe I'm already living the life I want to live and...
Oh God, maybe I'm already living the life I want to live.
Try not to say the disappearance of the sun sounds like the most valid theory. The fuck? You can't just drop that out of nowhere.
And what would happen then? Would mankind go extinct?
Not necessarily. A few hundred individuals should, in theory, possess the antibodies necessary to survive such harsh conditions.
What? Antibodies?
Hmm.
Disappearance of the sun makes me think of super volcano explosion.
Hmm.
Right? Cover the world in ash, blot out the sun. But why would antibodies, what would those have to do with surviving a volcano eruption? Because that makes it sound more like a disease, right?
Antibodies?
As humans, we're all different. Naturally, some of us adapt to certain environments better than others.
But it also does sound like the environment changing is a large factor in it, so...
Only a few hundred survivors. Wow. A video started playing. It showed a boy living on an Earth that had become a dried up wasteland. I briefly imagined what it'd be like to be that boy. For some reason, I had this feeling that even if my parents, classmates, and all the adults I knew died, I'm built different. I'd be able to survive. If I was in that submarine...
Yeah, I was thinking about this. Was it a Reddit post?
Yeah, I'd just swim up.
I just, like, I know there's no basis for this, but I feel like I'd just survive. A bubble of air would catch me and I'd swim up.
Yeah.
God, that was the most... that was so, like... Dude, take a moment and think about what you're...
I wonder if tomorrow will really come. Is the world really going to end? There would be no next year then.
No one really knows if the sun's gonna come up the next day. What would you do if the world ended tomorrow? Actually, the sun not coming up is a very specific kind of apocalypse. That would mean the Earth stopped rotating. So first, we'd all get flung against the wall, and most of us that weren't at very high or southern latitudes would just die, get pulverized. And then, what? The atmosphere would spin us up a little bit again, because the air would still be moving.
Maybe.
And then we'd have, like, one baked half of the... Well, I guess it depends on, like, if it gets, like, in what way it's stopped, if it's tidally locked to the sun or not. But
I'm trying to remember.
Either we get really, like, one really long day and one really long night per year, or it's permanent facing the sun, permanent fate.
I'm trying to remember. There was one sci-fi I read, and I wonder if you've read it as well, where there was a tidally locked planet which had that. One side was always baked by the sun, and the other side never had sun. And to travel, people had to have special vehicles with sunshades to make it across the face of this desert orb and not be killed by the constant overpowered sun.
That's a much more realistic take on it than the one I was thinking of that did the same thing. I was thinking of Nier.
Oh, okay. But this doesn't ring a bell for you?
No, I don't know what you're talking
Dang,
about.
I'm going to have to try and figure out what that was, because there's a very specific memory, but I think I read it when I was a kid, so I don't remember any of the plot details or anything else. I don't even know if it was good. It could be terrible. It could be a really bad YA sci-fi novel that I read when I was 8 or something, but it's in there rattling around. Sound off in the comments if you know what book this might be.
Imagine you'd probably have most people surviving in, like, the day-night band.
Yeah, maybe.
And then if it was because if it's tidally locked, you can, like, set down roots and be okay in kind of like the perpetual evening. But beyond that, you're either going to get, like, why are we talking about this?
Perpetual evening, I think, would still screw you. How would you agriculture?
Yeah, fungus.
Okay.
I feel like you could, depending on, like, what point of technology we're at, you could probably salvage enough to keep, like, some greenhouses or stuff like artificially do it. But, like, any agriculture you do would have to be completely artificial. Either that or we just all eat funguses. What would you do if the world ended tomorrow?
I'm not sure.
Aside from talking about the practical implications of the sun literally not rising.
It's hard to predict how I'd act. Personally, I couldn't wait for the end to come. I had this completely baseless feeling that it would awaken a special power within me, which would then allow me to save the day.
Ah, okay. I think we're figuring it out now. I think we're getting your angle, buddy.
Like I said, I'm built different.
Yeah,
I
like
would just
literal
live.
built different. Okay. So you've got this weird exceptional protagonist thing going on.
And when that time came, when that happens, who are you?
Here.
Oh no, he's hot.
Here, a special delivery of Hokkaido crabs.
I don't even know how to eat crab.
Not to worry, they come with instructions.
Did you write them yourself, Mr. Samejima?
Yes, I even went the extra mile and drew pictures.
Carrying a large styrofoam box, the man headed off toward the kitchen. Being one of my father's direct subordinates, Mr. Samejima would come over to our house quite frequently.
And he still comes over when your father isn't there.
And maybe Dad asked him to, hey, make sure my son gets some protein.
Or maybe this is a flashback, I don't know.
He had always been a bit unique, even discounting the fact that he was a policeman.
Right, because we did learn that his dad was a cop. So, having fun living all by yourself?
It's a bit lonely. It's a bit lonely, but I think I'll get used to it in no time.
You're still just 15. Don't be afraid to count on me.
Thanks, I will. He left immediately after dropping off the crabs.
Huh.
I said what I did because he was a worried adult, but it was fine.
Okay, maybe he is just... I don't know. I just like... Adult who's not a part of the family waiting until the family's not around to show up. And I'm like, that could go one of two ways. But I guess he is just a family friend. Like, it's not a dynamic that I was super familiar with. At least among my own friends, but I know my father and mother did have another, or they still do have another couple who they've just been like incredibly long time friends with, and like we would go to see them all the time, and like I would have felt like okay with being, you know, around them.
For me, it was weird because my mother and I are both very serious introverts.
Yep.
And also came up north with like the whole social circle being down south, so no connections. So to me, it was just normal that families were small units and, you know, there wasn't all that much going on outside of you and your close family and so on. But then I had friends where I was amazed and baffled that they wouldn't even lock their doors because they had all of their good friends living, you know, within biking or distance or in the next subdivision over.
Mm-hmm.
And folks would just invite themselves in at random times and be like, oh, I dropped off a pie for you while you were out at work and so on. And I was like gobsmacked by this idea.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of alien world is this? And then I realized, oh, actually, a lot of communities are just like that. I just happen to be a freak, and so is my family. And we have no social connections to the fabric of our community. And, Anyway, that's my story about growing up weird.
Growing up? Still are.
True. After all, I had MAMIYA.
Hello. Hey, Kato, something on your mind?
MAMIYA, no, I just thought that I may be a bit lonely.
What about the Rio kid?
As I sat on the bed and hung my head, I felt someone smiling next to me. I looked to the side and saw an empty space that seemed to be giving me a smile.
It's fine. Kato, come with me. I can show you whatever dreams you want. So what'll it be tonight? I'm a pretty fun guy, you know? Go on. Come to me.
I thrust my right hand into the air and felt a gentle pull on it before my body began to float. Whoa.
Don't be afraid. Be not afraid. No. Don't be afraid. You know this feeling well, don't you? Just remember it. That's all you have to do. Christmas lights, delicious snacks, the many things you were given, the floaty sensation.
Ah.
See? There's nothing to be scared of.
I opened my eyes and found myself floating through the air, looking down on the city. Wow. Whoa, this is amazing.
Don't let go of my hand. Take it slow, like you were swimming.
I did as told and bent myself forward to fly through the night sky.
Is our friend Kato here a magician? A warlock, perhaps? After a fashion?
But then, all my strength was drained from me and my body began to wobble in the air.
You seem to have high expectations for that man.
My heart skipped a beat. Are you going to tell someone?
What? Oh, no, I mean, you're the only one who can hear me anyway.
That's a relief. I could never keep secrets from you. I've been thinking about him. How could he regain his memory?
And you wonder how long this life would last, don't you?
Amazing. It's like you're reading my mind.
I know everything about you.
What do you think I should do? You already know the answer, don't you?
This world has no answers. Only desires, and actions that can be taken to fulfill them. Kato, do you know what you want?
What I want?
You'll know what to do once you figure that out.
That sounds difficult.
The necessary course of action is always quite simple. It's only the details that make things appear more complicated. Anyway, I've talked enough. Good night, Kato.
MAMIYA.
I'll be waiting for you here in the land of dreams.
Even after I'd woken up, I still felt like I was floating in the air. Haha.
What's so funny?
Rio, how long have you been there?
Long enough. I knocked on your door like 1,000,000 times. Were you having a good dream?
Huh? Well, yeah, kind of.
Huh. That's so? Then I'll want to hear about it later.
As I spoke of my dream, Rio made an expression that was surprisingly gentle. I didn't know why, but it made me a bit bashful. After seeing that dream, I felt like nothing could go wrong. MAMIYA had a strange power that seemed to make it possible.
What is this?
You mean this book? It's been there for as long as I can remember. I recall rereading it multiple times back in elementary school.
Wow, Treasure Island.
Rio?
I know this book. The protagonist is a prince in the kingdom of the night. So the part of the earth that is perpetually facing away from the sun. Don't tell me that we bullshit.
I would love that for us.
He travels the world in search of the blue sky because none of his subjects know what it looks like. Did I get that right?
Yeah, that's exactly how the story goes. Rio?
That's my name. I guess. Memories do return after a while.
Visibly relieved, Rio smiled in front of me for the very first time.
Don't get used to it, though.
Our life together turned out to be a lot nicer than I had anticipated. I didn't need to pay him any special attention. And I finally had someone to play video games with to boot. He didn't come across as much of a gamer, but despite his initial clumsiness, he desperately strove to improve his play.
What kind of games are they playing? I gotta know.
I had never imagined I'd one day be eating potato chips while having an all-night gaming session with someone. Living with him was tons of fun.
And then if you keep backwards long jumping into the corner here, you can build up more and more speed and then zip up the stairs, and even though you're not supposed to be able to do that. And then you can go fight Bowser even though you don't have the right number of stars. I'm back.
Hey, you're kind of late today. Whoa, you're covered in soot. What happened? Did you get into a fight?
Here you go.
Huh? He awkwardly hands me a bunch of yen bills.
I'm paying rent. Found a job yesterday. Can I take the bath first?
Of course, but there's really no need for you to pay rent. You can stay here until your memories return and,
I just felt like I needed to do something. I'd go crazy otherwise.
oh.
Forget it.
I felt some warm paper smelling distinctly of croquettes pressing against my face.
I got some of these from a street vendor. Figured you might want them since you're running out of food because of me. Anyway, I'm off to take that bath that I previously mentioned.
Jeez. Wow, he actually got a job. He's way more of an adult than me.
Don't ask me how I did it. Anyway, if you get a call asking for a reference, Gino, just do me a solid. And if you get a second call asking for a reference, do a different voice and do me a solid.
As I lived with Rio, a certain hope began to fill my heart. Perhaps Rio had come to me to seek my help? Maybe he was a key to some adventure where we'd unravel a great conspiracy.
I'm beginning to notice that maybe this is less of a youthful, haha, fun, fantastical imagination and more of a recurring protagonist instinct in this guy.
I'm psychologically well adjusted.
Yeah, no, buddy, no.
That was why I had tried bringing his memories back by taking him to unfamiliar places. All because I was waiting for the arrival of perils yet unknown. All right. I'm gonna help you regain your memories. I've been thinking about how best to solve your problem. I'm not sure how much help I'll be, but I want to aid you any way I can. I must have reached him because he took a moment to think before saying,
The town. I was more concerned with the buildings lining my town and people living inside them. At least that's how I feel.
the town itself? But didn't you say you went through every street with a fine-tooth comb?
I did, but I was talking about this town in particular. Meaning I probably didn't live in this area. But I still felt a certain connection to it. So with that settled, I'd like to check out the neighboring city.
Rio made a brief pause. The fact that he couldn't remember a single thing made my heart ache. Got it. I couldn't help but extend my hand to him. Let's go visit the neighboring town.
This jacket is huge. What is this?
Huh? It's a lead.
I'm asking why you even have something like that. It's for dogs. Are
It'd
you
be-
a dog?
It'd be bad if I lost you somewhere, right?
You're not going to put me on a leash.
It used to belong to the dog we used to keep. Good thing I didn't throw it away. Anyway, please hold on to the other end.
So,
Also say woof.
okay, so no, that's gonna be a hard no from me, dog. I'm also noticing that Keita really, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but he's got to have that control of thing, not in the way where but like he's got to know where stuff is, right? But then he was also really happy-go-lucky about just having inviting this person, not inviting, but like taking this person into their home. But so you think I'm less than a dog?
Rio, we need to keep going. Whoa, don't pull so hard. But man, is it cold today. The wind is so strong. Oh, give me a moment. Would you like me to carry that bag for you?
Oh, you would? Thank you very much.
How far should I take it?
There's a store just behind that corner. Or is that too far?
Not at all. Sorry I kept you waiting. Take a look at this. I got us some peaches.
Good for you.
Oh, definitely. I love peaches. Anyway, let's be on our way. After walking for a while, I heard a cat and turned around. Oh, look, there's a cat in the tree.
I guess it can't get down?
It's pretty high. Not even I can reach it.
That is actually impressive. I feel like your head is in a different climate.
Rio looked at the peaches I was holding.
Suo, let go of the lead.
Huh? Whoa! He kicked off the base of the tree, grabbed a large branch, and spun around it. Using the lead as a lifeline, he quickly made it to where the cat was. Wow!
You're fine now.
After taking the cat in his hands, he used the lead he'd hung up to make a safe landing.
Here, I got it.
He smiled and gave me the black cat. The small creature in my hands was very warm.
You and I can help people. Or cats, at least.
Was he somehow competing against the help I got the peaches for? He bashfully scratched his cheek before putting the lead back in his pocket and walking off.
You are not getting this back.
I was just staring at him with nothing but awe in my eyes. He's so strong. He might actually be a character in a story.
Oh no.
My hero.
Oh no. Kato.
There might be some sort of drama behind his amnesia.
People's lives aren't stories.
Are you sure? Mine is. It was released in a best-selling visual novel.
God, that would be bad if he ever did figure out he was in a VN.
What if that's it? What if that's it? Talked to Mamiya too much, realized he exists in a fictional setting, and now has this rather cracked and detached way of interacting with reality, which he's happy about just as well. He knows he's a protagonist, but also
right, so he's like justifiably protagonist syndrome. But he also hasn't bothered to learn Python about it, so...
To be fair, we don't know what game engine this is.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
The excitement within my chest grew higher as I chased after him. I bought 2 train tickets, and they were more expensive than any of the ones I'd ever bought before. I could barely contain my excitement. It felt like we were embarking on a grand old journey.
You're not gonna sit?
No, I can't seem to calm down. Rio glanced up at me as I was holding onto the handrail, then directed his gaze outside the window.
You're one of those leg bouncers.
We were passing one station after another.
You know, if you got them both going, you'd do some impressive double bass drumming with that.
See, that's the thing. I never could. I could never get them in sync.
Yeah. Despite being a drummer percussionist, my double bass drumming, I couldn't get to be quick enough. And the bands I was playing with at the time just weren't metal focused enough for me to need to practice it more.
So no blast beats for you?
No, I can't blast beat.
That's okay. You can probably doom.
I could definitely doom. Anyone can doom if you just give like... Here, let me show you how to doom real quick. Doom.
But actually, you got to keep it in tempo while going slow. That's hard.
That is hard, but a pro tip, pro bands just have a metronome with their drummer.
True. I know this. True. Rio hadn't said anything, even as we reached the final stop. It was a factory town. We aimlessly wandered around under a cold winter sky. I didn't even know the name of the city. Neither of us spoke at all, partly due to the chilly weather. It made our lips dry and cracked. Every time I walk through a town, it makes me realize how empty it really is.
Everyone around me are just NPCs.
Except for you. For now. I suppose it's the sign of the time. Our world might really be ending. I don't genuinely believe that, but I can't help thinking about it. In the end, I might actually be wishing for it. I exhaled and watched my breath slowly dissipate into the air. Rio remained silent for a while and simply stared into the distance. As I was about to turn around and say we should leave, when I noticed him parting his lips.
I I don't think I'd want the world to end, despite how cruel and unfair it can be. Even without any memories. Even if your life turns into a boring, meaningless routine. When you die, it's all over.
As he uttered those words, his eyelashes lightly trembled in the wind. I think, if it's really that boring, it might as well come to an end.
That's an interesting little insight into Kato's. So, life has to be, if life is boring, then it might as well come to an end?
I want everything in my life to be interesting.
You are awfully greedy. I'm the opposite. I want as few things in my life to be interesting. Who was it that the famous curse? May you live in interesting times. Who said that?
I think it's just a thing.
That's just a thing. Okay.
You think so?
Only those at the top can think that way. It's selfish and arrogant.
A gust of wind ruffled our hair as it passed by. What value was there to mankind in a mundane world filled with nothing but hollow despair? I felt like our paltry scuffles had become the laughingstock of some invisible power.
Shit, maybe he does know he's in a game.
Narrowing my eyes in the strong wind, I licked my cracked lips to try and moisten them. I knew it would only make it worse later on, but as long as the immediate feeling of discomfort was gone, I didn't care.
I am learning.
This is a healthy mindset.
Yeah, this is a very healthy mindset you've got going on here. So, just have to make sure the present is as interesting as possible, no matter what happens down the road. Within a philosophy like that, I can see why you'd want the world to end. That way, it can end before you have to deal with any of the consequences, right?
In the end, we couldn't find anything that would help us jog Rio's memory.
What's going to catch up to you, Kato?
We were just a couple of children, powerless and insignificant.
You're also like 15, so like, why? Why are you this weirdly not... I guess maybe jaded is the right word. If you truly believe that life is only worth living if every moment of it is interesting. That does strike me as a kind of jadedness. I don't know words.
Ah. My heart ached seeing Rio so visibly disheartened. Don't worry, I'm sure we'll find something new tomorrow.
Thanks.
A baseless, irresponsible remark. Still, it was enough for him to try and hide his pained eyes and give me an awkward smile. I turned back toward the familiar road under the east sky. There was nothing in Tokyo. The city we lived in was empty. And so was I. There was absolutely nothing to me. Huh? I woke up not in my bed, but the living room. I must have dozed off on the sofa. I should head back to my room. With uncertain steps, I returned to my room.
It's that dream again. Shh. Huh?
You're not sleeping?
Oh, you surprised me. I didn't expect to see you so late.
Unable to fall asleep in my room, I went down to the living room. And there, I found Rio.
A strange little... Falls asleep in the living room, walks back to room, wakes up, walks back down to living room, and finds... You are a strange, strange person. Here you go.
He handed me a mug.
I wanted to drink myself, so I figured I'd also get something for you.
The gentle warmth made his outline blur with the darkness.
Careful there, it's hot.
Tastes pretty good. A faintly sweet aroma spread across my mouth. It's kind of rare for you to not be able to sleep.
I do remember dreaming, though.
Dreaming.
Yeah. I think it was the first dream I'd had since coming here.
What was it about?
I don't remember too well.
Well, that's how dreams are. Even if you think they're good, when you have to talk about them, you forget everything. That's why I have a dream diary.
A dream diary?
Yeah, it's a diary in which you write the content of a dream while you still remember it. Though I'm just using a regular college notebook. I jokingly asked if he wanted to see it, but his response was unexpectedly serious.
Tell me about your dreams.
Well, I'll tell you the one from 3 days ago. I invited him to my room and sat down on my bed. I opened the notebook and went back a bit from the newest page.
Wow. You got your notebook at the Pulp Fiction store?
This is a dream where I fought a kaiju.
A kaiju?
Yes, the kind that salivates all the time and smells like decay. I had no idea how I could beat something like it. While I was thinking, it was covering the city in its sludge, and people were overcome by fear.
Oh no. There goes Tokyo. And how'd it end?
I destroyed the tallest building in Roppongi from the bottom up and crushed the kaiju.
I see.
But when I was celebrating the victory, the sludge coiled around me. And that was when the dream ended.
Huh.
I closed the notebook in an exaggerated manner. Rio looked like he wanted to say something.
You have some fun dreams, huh?
Yes, I love dreaming. It's so much fun. You never know what's going to happen, but that just makes it exciting.
I see. Your dreams sound pretty nice.
Rio?
Could you tell me more of them tomorrow?
Tomorrow. That word made me look up. Yeah, of course.
Think you can sleep?
Huh?
I've been watching you during the day and you seemed awfully drowsy. Figured you were sleep deprived.
Oh.
Hopefully I'm just overthinking it, though. I'll wash the cups.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Good night. Huh. Turns out Rio's way more of an adult than I am. I see.
And we'll have to find out what happens
Next time?
next. This seems
Next
like a
time.
very good and normal setup they have going on here.
Yeah, definitely healthy and regular all the way around.
And I don't know, it's just also like they've kind of lulled us into this kind of comfortable routine thing. But you got to remember, like, Rio must have had a life or something beforehand that ended with him being stabbed and left to die in the rain.
Yep.
So, or I'm hard reading that as the injury he had. So, like, that will like and like this whole Rio's whole situation is like a macrocosm for Kato's view of life, right? If I could just forget about the consequences and put them off and keep going, then it'll be fine. Not realizing that it'll, catch up to him at some point. Maybe that was a bit of a stretch, but I don't know. I think it works. Fight me in the comments if you want to. Next time, everyone. Bye.
Peace.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.